Are your Google Ads campaigns throwing money away and you don't know why? If so, then you need to go through the 8 things to avoid that I'm going to share with you in this video. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Daryl and I run a Google Ads agency called Bigflare that served hundreds of clients from all across the world. I've audited Google Ads campaigns big and small in dozens of different niches, so trust me when I say I've seen every mistake under the sun when it comes to Google Ads. So join me today as I run through the 8 most common money-wasting mistakes, and be sure to avoid doing all of these in the future. The new favorite line that Google often repeats these days is that you need to switch to broad match keywords paired with smart bidding in order to maximize sales. While I do agree that broad match keywords have improved over the past few years, I disagree with the idea that every advertiser, large and small, should start right out of the gate with broad match, regardless of objective or budget. For most small businesses who want to be efficient with spend, especially in the early days of being on Google Ads, phrase match and exact match simply work better, period. My advice is to always start out with phrase match and exact match only, and only consider going broad later down the line if and when your growth has plateaued and you are looking for something new to test that may bring you more conversions at the expense of a possibly lower return on ad spend. In Google Ads, you want your keywords to be very specific to the solution you are providing. Keywords that are too generic and not specific enough will burn your budget. But it's so subjective, isn't it? How specific is specific enough? How generic is too generic? It's tough to understand, especially if you are not highly experienced with Google Ads. So here's a simple problem-solution framework that you can use. You want to target keywords that show the user knows their problem and their solution, not just the problem. Also, you want to make sure that the solution they are looking for is not overly ambiguous. Here's what I mean. Let's say we are selling a whey protein powder gym supplement. So let's take the keyword improve muscle mass. In this keyword, the user knows the problem they have, not enough muscle, but they haven't specified the exact solution. So the keyword is too generic. Advertising on this keyword will waste money. Next example keyword, muscle building supplement. You might think this keyword could work. It shows that the user knows their problem, not enough muscle, and their solution, a supplement. However, this keyword is ambiguous. There are many kinds of muscle building supplements. They might be searching for BCAAs, creatine, beta-alanine, heck, they might even be after steroids. So muscle building supplement would also be a bad keyword to target, considering we are targeting one specific kind of muscle building supplement, which is whey protein powder. Okay, my final keyword example, nice and simple, 5-pound tub whey protein. Bang on the money. That's exactly what we have. They know their problem and their exact unambiguous solution, and oh look, they even added that they want the 5-pound tub, indicating that they are a super high intent user. Definitely target this keyword. By the way, if you would like to get the kinds of results that my team and I at Bigflare got for this client, or even this client, then head on over to the link in the description below. Using the form on that page, you can get in touch with me and schedule in a free PPC strategy session. We'll hop on the phone, discuss your challenges, and dive into actionable strategies that you can use to grow your revenue with PPC. If your conversion tracking is not set up correctly, then instead of advertising on Google, you should just save yourself a bit of time and get a big old pile of your own money and throw it right onto a bonfire. Seriously, jokes aside, conversion tracking can be tricky to set up right, and sometimes you can think you have it working just fine, only for some site update to throw it right off. It's essential to know how to check and fix your conversion tracking if it breaks. So let's hop over to my computer screen so I can show you how to double check that your conversion tracking is working just fine. Okay, so the first thing you want to do to check your conversion tracking is to install this Tag Assistant Legacy extension for Chrome. So just search for Tag Assistant Legacy by Google, hit the button over here to add it to Chrome, and then you are good to go. Next step, open up your website, and then open up the Tag Assistant over here and hit the Enable button. Once you hit enable, this will be checking for tracking tags on your site, although it won't do it right away, so we need to hit the refresh button first. And then what you want to do, now that the tag assistant is checking for tags on the site, is you want to go through an example conversion while checking every page in that conversion flow and making sure that the conversion tag is in the right place, which is on the thank you page only. So let's do an example conversion for this product here. I'm going to add it to cart. And as I go through the conversion flow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this and just check that I do not see Google Ads conversion tracking, which I do not see here. Great, that's exactly what I don't want to see. Let's go to the next stage, view my cart. Once we're in the cart, once again, just check to make sure conversion tracking isn't there. It is not. Okay, view cart. Check again. We just need to make sure that the conversion tracking isn't anywhere but the thank you page. Okay, it's not there. Process checkout. So then you go through the full checkout process. Once again, every page along the way, you want to just check in here, make sure you don't see conversion tracking. Do a test conversion, input your credit card details and make a purchase if you're e-commerce, or just fill out your form and hit submit if you're lead gen. When you get to the thank you page, the first page that you see after completing the conversion, you want to see something like this inside Tag Assistant. You want to see that Google Ads conversion tracking is on that page, and then you can click it open to get more details. And if you're e-commerce, you want to check for one other thing, which is the conversion value. You want to make sure conversion value is the exact value of the thing you just bought. And if it's not, or if you don't see Google Ads conversion tracking on your thank you page, then your tracking isn't working and you need to go back and fix it. If you set up your search campaign without paying careful attention to some of the boxes that Google left ticked for you, you might be wasting spend on the display network in a campaign where you actually wanted to be targeting search. Here's how to check for and then switch off this setting. Alright, so once you're in your Google Ads account, you want to check your search campaigns, and you can use an easy filter by clicking over here and going after just your search campaigns. And what you want to look for is, you want your search campaign icons to look like this, just the magnifying glass, and to not look like this. This has a magnifying glass and that little rectangle there. That actually means that this campaign is opted into the display network and could be wasting money there. Now, if you want to see how much money you're potentially wasting on the display network, you can come to Segment and go to Network with Search Partners. And luckily for this particular account, it's not really spending big on display network. What you will see is, if you've opted into display network, you may see a bunch of wasted clicks and spend on the display network. If we go to all time, we can see how much of an effect this has had. So what you'll see is in a bunch of campaigns, display network suddenly kicking in, like here it's had 400 clicks, and you just generally don't want that in your search campaigns. You want to turn that setting off, which you can do by clicking into the campaign settings. Once you're on campaign settings, come here to networks and just untick this box. You should never really be targeting display network within your search campaigns. Many people don't even understand what impression share is, so let me break it down for you. It's essentially your share of the market for your keywords. Out of all the impressions you were eligible to show ads for, how many did you actually show ads for? That's what your impression share percentage represents. Many advertisers are leaving money on the table by not paying attention to this metric and maxing it out as much as possible. Here's how to check it and how to max it out. Okay, so once you are in your Google Ads account, you want to come over to the columns section and just make sure that you can see these 3 columns here. So pull up your columns, modify columns if you don't see these already, and underneath the competitive metrics section, tick search impression share, search lost IS due to rank, and search lost IS due to budget. And I'll explain what these mean in just a moment, but first of all, let's scan down these search campaigns here and see how they're doing. The first column you want to check is search impression share. So what this tells you is essentially your share of the search market. Higher number is good. General benchmarks for you to pay attention to are for brand campaigns that are doing above a 1000% ROAS or a very good CPA or a very, very high return on ad spend. Generally speaking, you want above 95% search impression share. You just want to be showing your ads all the time. For non-branded campaigns, I normally look for 30 to 40% impression share as a good benchmark. 50% for a non-branded campaign would be really good. But essentially, what you can see here is your share of the market, and if it's too low, then you could be having an issue here. And if it is too low, for example, if I looked at this campaign and thought, okay, 16%, that could be a bit low. How do I fix that? How do I get a bigger share of the market there? When you want to answer that question, that's where the next two columns come in handy. Search lost IS due to rank will tell you how much of the market you're losing out due to rank. And search lost IS due to budget will tell you how much you're losing out due to having too low a daily budget. Now, if your return on ad spend is good and you see something next to search lost IS due to budget, then the solution is just really easy. Raise your daily budget, and then you will get more spend and more clicks and more conversions at the same return on ad spend. If you are losing search impression share due to rank, it's a bit of a different equation. There's a bit more of a cost-benefit analysis to consider here, because the primary way or the quickest way that you can improve this number here, like reduce this number here so that you get a bigger share of the market, the primary way you can do that is to increase your bids. When you increase your bids, you're going to see your ROAS go down or your CPA go up. So bit of a cost-benefit analysis, like is the extra volume you get, you're going to get more share of the market, you're going to get more conversions by increasing your bids, but you're also going to see a little bit of a lower ROAS, a little bit of less margin in your campaign. So this needs to be tested. If we want to claw back some market share from here, we need to increase our CPC bids, and that may or may not result in more gross profit. Now, if you're seeing 70% of the market lost due to rank and your search impression share below 20%, then I do think that in most cases, you are going to improve your profitability by increasing the bids. You have to pay attention to your return on ad spend as well and make sure that it's well above your break even. If your return on ad spend is very close to your break even, then you don't have much room to improve your CPC bids. So that's how you look at your impression shares for search campaigns. Now, unfortunately, Performance Max campaigns do not give us these metrics. So let's have a look at some Performance Max campaigns. And Google does not show us our impression share metrics for Performance Max campaigns, so we kind of have to do this through a bit more of a test and learn approach. What we want to do with Performance Max campaigns is come into the campaign and look at recent data and look at our budget. So in this case, the budget is $1,000 per day, and then we want to compare that to the overall cost. So let's get rid of that line there. And what you can see here is that we do have some days above the $1,000 per day mark. So if you see this, if you see your Performance Max campaign sometimes going above your daily budget, then that's a sign that you could be getting more impression share if you raise your daily budget. And another sign that in Performance Max you could be getting more impression share is if your return on ad spend is really high above your break even. Now, you always want your return on ad spend to be above your break even point, but if it's excessively high above your break even point, let's say you break even at 200% return on ad spend, and then your return on ad spend in your Performance Max campaign is 800 or 1,000. That's a sign that, once again, you could be getting more impression share if you lowered the ROAS target. If you let that come down to, say, 500% return on ad spend, you're going to get more impression share, you're going to get more clicks, and you're going to get more sales, and you're still going to be above break even, so it's going to be profitable for you. But is it going to be more profitable than that previous higher return on ad spend that you had? You don't know until you test, so it's something that is worth testing. I often see advertisers going to one of two extremes with their ad group structure. On the one hand, you've got some people who still use SKAGs or single keyword ad groups. This used to be a great structure about 5 years ago, but the fact of the matter is that it's now massively outdated. On the other hand, you've got some advertisers who are just lumping dozens or hundreds of keywords into the same ad group, and there's no consistent theme to each ad group, resulting in ad copy being shown that is not relevant to the keyword that was searched. What you want to do is something in the middle, neither doing just one keyword per ad group, nor adding all your keywords into one ad group. The way to balance this is by having tightly themed ad groups. You can have as many keywords as you want in an ad group as long as they are all of a consistent theme. Let's look at a simple example. Let's say the brand I am advertising is lenappy.us, and we are selling a range of baby products such as these nappy bags. There are going to be a range of different ways that people could search for the same type of product, and depending on what they specify in their search, we're going to want to position the bag in different ways. A tightly themed ad group structure is what allows us to do this. Here's an example of how to do it. Okay, so I'm here in my spreadsheet and I've got some example keywords for lenappy.us. So let's say I did a bunch of keyword research and I created a keyword list. Now this is a short list because I'm just doing this as an example, but I jotted down all these keywords here and now I need to structure them into tightly themed ad groups. How do we go about it? Well, look at the keywords. Diaper bag, that's clearly one theme, but changing bag, now that's a different theme, that's different language, and I would want to create separate ad copy that focuses on that keyword for that theme, so that would mean I put it into a different ad group. Once again, diaper bags for cheap. Now, because this is a user looking specifically for the cheap item, I might want to highlight my cheapest items in the ad copy for that keyword. So I would theme this. I would structure this once again into a different ad group. Diaper backpack, that's different terminology again. So that would be a different ad group so that I can say diaper backpack in my ad copy and potentially point to a different landing page as well. So you go through your keyword list and you think of the themings in that way. And here's one I did earlier. Here's the ad groups that I would create for this particular list of keywords. Let's sort that to make it easier to see. So changing bag, all keywords about changing bag, I would put into an ad group there. Anything to do with cheap or discount, I would separate into a separate ad group so that I can put ad copy that highlights my price. And then diaper backpack is just a different product, a different keyword. They're specifying that they want the backpack. So that's going to be a different URL on the site, a different product. I'm going to separate it out into its own ad group for that reason. And then diaper bag, different language to backpack or changing bag. So that kind of deserves its own ad group. And that was a typo, by the way. Let's get rid of that. Diaper bag accessories, that's a different search. We need a different landing page, different ad copy for that theme. So anything to do with accessories goes into its own themed ad group. And then once again, fashion diaper bags, because this user is looking for a specific kind of bag, the fashionable sort, I would once again want to put this into a different ad group so that I can more tightly structure my ad copy around that specific keyword. And you better believe that when advertising on this keyword, I'm going to highlight the fashionable and trendy aspects of the product that I'm selling. There's still a sentiment going around these days that automated, conversion-focused bid strategies from Google are ineffective and you will be better off setting your own bids manually. That's simply not the case. This is another outdated sentiment. Over recent years, Google's bidding algorithm has come along in leaps and bounds, and nowadays it can hands down outperform the best manual bidders on the planet, assuming your account has plenty of conversions and accurate conversion tracking set up. The conversion threshold is normally around the 50 conversions per month mark. Above that mark, I am very confident that assuming conversion tracking is correct, automated bidding based on conversions or conversion value, also known as smart bidding, will outperform manual. At 15 to 50 conversions per month, it's questionable and you may want to test it. I'd still say it outperforms 60% of the time in this range, so worth testing out both options to see what works for you. If you are below 15 conversions per month and/or you are not confident your conversion tracking is actually correct, you may be alright with manual bidding. But if you do have plenty of conversions and accurate tracking, then switch away from manual bidding and move over to target return on ad spend or target CPA bidding and watch your results improve. Now, I could make a whole other video on this topic, and in fact I did. Hang around till the end of this video and I will link you to that other video that dives into this topic in more depth. But suffice to say, there's a lot of confusion when using automated bid strategies as to how to actually judge the results properly. You need to understand whether or not the bid strategy is in learning mode. You need to know about how the algorithm works to 30-day timeframes. you need to understand the concept of time-lagged sales. And you need to have a basic understanding of what levels of natural statistical fluctuation you have in your account's data on any given day or week. Combine all that knowledge and you'll be able to effectively judge the performance of your bid strategies. But failing to think about this the right way will cost you money in bad decision making, especially over the long term. That's a lot to take in, I know, but don't worry. Check out this video right here where I dive into this topic specifically, and I show you exactly how to avoid wasting money by not judging your smart bidding results properly. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, then do consider giving me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and then next up, I'll see you on this video over here that'll teach you how to stop wasting money with bad bidding decisions.